And we are back again. This is Sethikus Boza, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts of the Cult Science, Temple of the White Dragon. Today, I have Maximus North. Maximus, you've been on before. You and I have known each other for quite a while. It's awesome to have you back on, man. So, a lot of things that have been taking place, especially this year, we're going to touch upon. Or would you like to start diving into things?
Well, let's start diving in about the Aeon of Horus and how the consciousness needs to change. The Aeon of Horus represents the child, which is different from the Aeon of Osiris, which represents the father, and the Aeon of Isis, which represents the mother. And what that means is to have your consciousness like a child, but not immature or naive in the sense of wonder a child has of the world.
Yeah.
We need to have a more enchanted view of the world. Not this ultra-rationalistic, reductionist way of thinking is actually extremely damaging to our own consciousness. And it is actually the result for a lot of actually suicides that are going on right now. The cult of Scientism, these people in such a state of depression, it's killing people inside their own mind. You saw what happened back in 2020 when Scientism completely took over. That's the result of it. This is the root cause of so much mental illness because of this. Because at least in the past, all the other traditions, spiritual traditions, and even you could even say the religions even, at least they had some sort of metaphysical landscape or some transcendence someone could connect to. This one has none of that. So it goes against the human, because man as a species needs that transcendence or some form of metaphysical landscape in order to help them operate in the world. You can't just have rationalistic, reductionist science alongside a spiritual tradition or a metaphysical landscape. You can't just have physics alone. You need metaphysics. So This is why we need to get away from this type of thinking. The Scientism paradigm is the end of a civilizational cycle.
Right. Everything's a fucking paradox as far as I'm concerned. What I do definitely recognize is the mecha sphere simulation that everyone is fed fucking into in trade of what you're getting at in context. That everyone is inching along in their iron coffins, not realizing the further and further we get away from the original teaching, from what was originally instituted, the Aeon of Horus, and what the Aeon of Horus and what the Heru represents, the true will force reignited. I did a whole segment on that. Definitely encourage people to check it out. It's a question of what the true will force is versus what's being programmed into the machine, taking them away from the metaphysical factor, the eternal spirit, which is the only thing that can ignite the true will force in terms of the Heru, in terms of what Horus actually fucking represents. It's the child remembering what's there within the core versus all of the overlays and distortions and the fucking programming and all the fucking shit that's leading people to that point of decision like you're fucking talking about. They're just completely, totally disconnected from that divine spark of inspiration and connection and expansion of higher consciousness, awareness, and creative capacity as well. Yeah, no fucking wonder people are experiencing what the fuck they are. Everything that has happened, especially since 2020, designed to cut them off even fucking harder and pull them further and further into the fucking abysmal, feasted by these lesser forces. That's what the fuck I see going on, man. Especially when I take this trip as far as the public sphere is concerned. I 100% agree, man.
What I was getting onto is the nihilistic philosophy that's been prevalent as well. Nihilism, a lot of it, like Friedrich Nietzsche, he was a seer, and what he saw in a sense was in about 100 years time everyone is going to be a nihilist. He was trying to basically warn people about this,
warning people against this state of mind and this state of fucking being because of where it's gonna fucking lead. If this whole sense of fucking meaninglessness and nothing fucking matters and we're just gonna let the world go to shit.
What I would say is that liberalism was the philosophy that America was founded upon. This might sound a bit controversial, what I'm going to say now, but liberalism on its own, it's an incomplete philosophy. It allows you to be what you want to be in life, but it has no deeper meaning other than that. And equality above all else. Equality doesn't exist, so that one's out. And that results basically in the end into nihilism. You need to have something else accompanying the ideas of liberalism in order to basically give life to yourself. This is what I'm trying to get with the whole hero mythos philosophy.
This is everything that they want to fucking kill. This is everything that I see a lot of people fucking speaking against, that the heroes are fucking gone, that it's all fucking dead, it doesn't matter. That's just old folklore bullshit.
Yeah.
But no, this is exactly what the goddamn fucking world needs, especially now, in terms of us remembering. And then, of course, the contrast of everything that you're fucking getting at, and the consequence of this ideology for its own sake, in terms of a pseudo meaning, which doesn't really have any fucking meaning at all.
Yes, that's right. That's what I was getting at. So the Enlightenment era has been created this landscape of basically having no meaning to anything. Whether you look at liberalism, going in the 20th century, accommodate that was either fascism on the one end or communism, to try and give meaning to something. Communism was based on the narrative that history is basically about class struggle, and then the fascism was based on the narrative that history was a constant battle between nations and races. Neither of these things actually work in reality either. That has resulted in, again, as nihilism. And so the hero philosophy, which I'd like to get through to now, is seeing yourself as the hero of your own story. And in your story, you see various people come into contact with, make certain relationships with, or you form certain bonds with, are different archetypes in that story. That's the way you have to see life, the hero of your own story. The only people that you actually have a right to have as your enemies are the people that have done you actual wrong, and not because of indifference. Rather than be saying everything's just shit.
Using that as some fucking excuse to not rise the fuck up and be the hero of your own fucking path.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the archetype. That's one of the things I teach as far as protocol with the circle of the magician, is assuming God form within the circle of the magician, man. And that's what the ancient archetypes were meant for, as a guide in terms of the unconscious, subconscious mind field, that when you tap that shit and you assume God form within the fulcrum of the circle, this is showing you how to embody a certain state of fucking mind that's necessary for the hero to succeed. Thrown out the fucking window, especially in terms of religion and how it's demonized the gods and goddesses in context. And then we're subject to this trifecta in terms of religion and politics that we see playing the fuck out, being fucking amplified since the beginning of October, again, on another fucking goddamn round, and everyone's just getting pulled into the fucking machine even fucking harder, man. Further and further away from recognizing it's not about what the fuck is happening halfway across the world that we're not even in fucking control of, but what is the state and condition of your own fucking life, your backyard, the people in your life, so on and so forth. It's the obsession of what's happening around us that we can't control, and then everything just goes into fucking meaninglessness. It's all arbitrary, and this is what the fuck people are talking about, not seeing the fact that our world's going the fuck down right where the fuck we stand, and that dog won't shut the fuck up. This fucking dog won't shut the fuck up, man. Anyways.
So another thing I want to actually get onto is my latest video, the whole Faustian civilization. It's a term coined by Oswald Spengler, who was a historian and mathematician, and he came up with the idea of each civilization are epochs or cycles. And that's why I get into the whole Atlantean cycles. That's why I term it. And so they are actually personalities in their own right. But they do have a light, they have a peak, and then they die, like everything else. And the one we're in now is the Faustian civilization, Faust. And Faust made a pact with the devil, basically, for knowledge, power, and various pleasures.
Was the pact not made for a specific gain in the present moment without regards of what the consequences were going to be?
Yes, yeah, it was that. He didn't really have much foresight. So he was just obsessed with power and gaining as much knowledge as possible, ran right off the cliff in a sense.
A lot of people think that the story of Faust is made the fuck up. Consider it's not. Faust is a real person, and he did make a pact with Mephistopheles and all this fucking shit that we hear about.
If you look at Faust, he was a magician, and Loki is Woden's shadow. When our people went into the Faustian cycle, we went through the Dark Age. He's made a pact with his shadow. We became civilized, but we became darkened in the mind, and we became blind to certain things. And our whole pursuit for knowledge and power basically blinded up because we forgot wisdom. Before we went on the Faustian cycle, our ancestors had wisdom. When we were in our tribal societies before we made the pact with the Roman Church. That's the whole pact. That's what the Faustian civilization is. It's a combination of the Germanic culture, Roman culture, Christianity, the tripartite of what the Faustian civilization, that's what it's born out of. We've been basically trying to know everything about everything, and no other civilization has done this. Try to record everything about everything in every single minute detail and billions of books. No other civilization has done this. Like, other civilizations have recorded things, but not to the level what the Faustian civilization has. Its main theme, its main prime symbol, is infinite space. Off into the infinite. It knows no bounds. If you look at the spread, it's gone throughout all the world, has now influenced the entire world.
It's nothing to do with the fucking West. It's to do with what has taken over the fucking West. It's spread like a goddamn fucking plague, man.
Yes.
Whether unwitted, whether it was forced or chosen willfully, people have sided with the shadow in context, exalting this whole nihilistic philosophy, dragging everything. It's interesting because the fucking paradox, man. We're living in a time unlike any other time. It's tidal waves of information is not viable proper knowledge and fucking wisdom. It's creating more confusion. It's creating more contrast. It's creating more of a separation from what is actually viable that we need to be focused on to navigate these fucking times. We're living the fucking saga now. We're in the goddamn fucking Ragnarok where Fenrir is gone to swallow the fucking sun. And I warned about that even before what hit in fucking 2020. So witnessing the play out, people are stupider than they were before. They don't have the ability to even rationally see shit for what the fuck it is, man. IQ distinction has gone down. You know,
I want to make a comment about that. Back in the actually Victorian era, what we call the Victorian era here in my country's history is the 1800s. The average IQ of a person here was actually higher. I've looked at data map of what the average IQ is now in this country, and it's 100. And that's still pretty high compared to most of the world. The IQ has gone downhill since basically over 100 years ago.
And you think it would be more because of what we have available. But that's the fucking trick, man. You flood the people with so much fucking goddamn information all at fucking once. And they're just bouncing from one thing to another, and they're getting dumber and dumber and dumber by the fucking day.
You can see right in the culture. You can see basically the culture becoming more stupid and more bread and circus more than ever. You look at the culture in this country I'm in about 100 years ago, or more than that. There was more of a sophistication to it, I have to say. Appreciated things like literature and great art and stuff like that. And this is what I was getting at, that we're in a winter set phase of the civilization. There's the spring, there's the summer, there's the autumn, and then there's the winter phases. And the spring is the initial spark, what gives basically rise to that civilization. According to Oswald Spengler, the date when this civilization is meant to end is 2100, 70 years, 80 years from now. Interestingly enough, the Russian civilization, which hasn't fully yet developed, is not recognized its prime symbol.
People don't know who the fuck they are. They don't know where they're going. They don't have a sense of fucking purpose. They're overwhelmed with this nihilistic programming of meaninglessness and what the fuck is the fucking point. All they fucking live for is the goddamn machine and what the machine pumps out every single fucking day. This is what I see when I go out in the fucking public. There's no high table of philosophy. There's no tribe coming together. Most of the fucking people out there. But what I just experienced, I took a trip, traveled about 2,500 fucking mile round trip and established the fucking order and the fucking knighthood again with about 30 fucking dudes solidified. It is official, brother. Okay? That's what I've been working to focus on. Living the myth, picking the archetype, living this shit for fucking real, breaking away from all of this fucking shit that's sucking the world into the goddamn abysmal fucking toilet. And the things that were declared, the things that were discussed, are literally everything that I've been talking about needing to be established for the last goddamn fucking decade since I, came on to Black Earth Productions, taking it back to the original teaching, all of these different things. It's happened on my end. You've been in training in martial arts, you're upping your skills, getting your health up. The whole concept of a militant strength culture, getting back to our roots and getting back to what is important, getting around fires again, getting around ritual and putting meaning into literally everything that we fucking do. If it doesn't have meaning, you're missing the point in terms of life and the meaning of life. If we don't give meaning to what the fuck we do, getting into these concepts with people, if you're on fire and you want them to get it, but then they don't get it, and are you fucking kidding me? How could you not understand or feel the fire of what I'm getting at? The meaning of getting back to what we fucking need to really wake the fuck up and navigate these fucking times. What the fuck is the point of anything, right? It sets such a goddamn fucking rage in me, otherwise knowing the fucking difference, because of how much meaning that I know you and other people and myself put into what the fuck we do and what we're working to explain to people that we need to get the fuck back to.
This is very important, I think, about building yourself up, elevating yourself into every possible way in multiple areas, going upwards with it, make connections with people as much as possible. People like us, we're scattered far apart. It's very hard to find people who relate to you on that deeper level. Conversation we're having now, that kind of level. If I try to bring up anything too deep, it seems to scare them, in a sense. To all just talk about just mundane shit all the time is not very high in consciousness.
I find that a lot of people out there don't actually have a sense of meaning, even though they could be working a job or whatever the fuck. They can't stand it.
Yeah.
You know that they could be doing something else, but they're just settling. Told them that they weren't good enough, or their dream or their goal or their vision wasn't obtainable, right? And this, of course, is a part of the fucking communist socialist fucking programming to destroy art, to destroy music, to destroy the things that actually connect you to what meaning reveals. What the fuck is life without poetry, man? What the fuck is life without art and music and having an outlet that puts us in our creative capacity away from being some kind of mechanized robot automaton for the fucking goddamn machine? And that's most people out there. And that's why they're fucking suicidal, man. That's why they're fucking dead.
It's very interesting you brought that up, because I've noticed people who don't have any creative outlet at all, whatever that is, they tend to be very, very depressed and lack meaning in life.
Oh, fuck. When I was not playing music, I got a band going with a buddy of mine. He's playing drums. Yeah. We're tearing shit the fuck up. I cannot fucking believe how unbelievably fucking depressed I was compared to getting back into it. Holy fucking shit.
It's like on my end, I'm working on this high fantasy story. I won't get into too much into details, because every single day I imagine it. My mind comes alive. Imagine all the different elements to it. I draw it all down, the illustration for it, and figure out how it's going to work and everything, and make it something unique. What we have to look into more than anything when it comes to creativity now is what hasn't already been done there. What can we add to something? It can obviously be inspired by something else that you admire, but it has to. What can makes this unique? What is not going to just make it the same as something that's already been done? And that's what we need to come up with.
One thing I've noticed, right? Definitely. Yeah. One thing I've noticed more and more, especially this year, and the warfare has been pretty much off the fucking charts. Waves of self-doubt, wanting to get us to second guess what we do know, especially in terms of who we are, what our capabilities are, and putting your creative capacity into so that it keeps life fucking flourishing. One thing I've definitely started to fucking notice is an unconscious fucking arrogance that has taken a lot of fucking people. They think they know, but they still don't fucking get it. They don't understand what is actually required to cross these fucking thresholds, man. And we're not going to be in our true creative capacity unless we know who the fuck we are. And you ask the average person, like I've been talking about, ask anybody public, just in general, who are you? What are they going to tell you? To have a true sense of meaning for myself, if I didn't know who the fuck I was, I wouldn't know what my purpose was or what to put meaning into as far as my creative capacity. All of these different things we have as vehicles to convey and express and connect on a deeper level that does inspire meaning and purpose and manifestation in the face of all this fucking shit. The fucking chokehold on most fucking people right now is off the goddamn fucking charts, and they have become more fucking fake, dude. It's all on a fucking pretense. They say they want to do this. They say they want to do that. They say they want this to happen, but nobody's taking action towards those things. It's all this fake ass fucking bullshit. Yeah. That's another part of the contrast as far as I'm concerned. People come together, they get excited about the idea. It's ideas about ideas at that fucking point, and nobody's taking action, making things fucking happen. Fuck, let's pull it together and make it fucking happen. That's exactly what the fuck I did over this last weekend with about 30 motherfuckers that are not fucking around. We established the fucking order, the actual fucking knighthood in context that both you and I, we were a part of in terms of ancestors. It's manifested for fucking real. Okay? That's what all of us is about. The myth and philosophy. I get it, man. It's hard to get things fucking going.
I would like to talk about Julius Avila, and he's got some interesting points. So, book is revolt against the modern world, and he gets into the whole idea of modernity, and what he says modernity is a complete dismantling of tradition. That which has always been there is the eternal spirit of a people. Modernity is moving further and further away from that. And one of the disagreements I have with him is rigid hierarchy, which I don't necessarily agree with. He doesn't really take much of a favouring to our ancestral tradition, the Germanic pagan animist tradition. He's a Roman supremacist, so he has basically identified as like a Roman pagan, sympathies of Catholicism as well. He was quite a unusual character, so quite an eccentric character as well. He did also point out that how the Christian priesthood, the Catholic and Lutheran churches, and the Orthodox as well, are part of what's called the gynocracy or the lunarium. Christianity is a lunarium religion. It's quite interesting because I was watching a documentary not too long ago. The women of our own people converted to Christendom, not the men.
Back to 1066, man.
Yeah. Christendom, feminized society, hasn't actually made it massive at all. The exoteric aspect is all patriarchal.
It preaches submission to authority. Okay.
We saw how it manifests in the Middle Ages. It comes across exoterically as all patriarchal, but really what that was, a lot of it, was the whole idea of knights and chivalry, a separate tradition.
And again, in terms of what I just mentioned, that was what was reestablished.
Yes.
The true knighthood in context.
This whole idea of knights was our ancestral pagan tradition, having to compromise with the church, defenders of the church around the perimeter at that time, because obviously the priests in the church couldn't defend themselves, but they're weak. So they needed to be knights to be that force. That's why the knights in the Middle Ages had that whole saying of defend the weak. They were the strong ones. That's not Christian at all. It is actually pagan.
Right.
It's part of our own tradition. It's a separate thing from the church. The church is actually the inverted womb itself.
Right. Yeah, that's a lot to get into as far as the birth gate. In context. Take it back to fucking Mecca, dude. Is the inverted fucking womb of the fucking abyss. And this is what people don't understand about that trifecta. Okay? Triangulation's one thing. But when you're involved in a trifecta, throw fascism, communism, socialism into the mix. The fractal virus and the way the checkerboard mutation operates on a fucking spiral gives birth to itself and devours itself. You could take it back to the Rig Veda when Indra's fighting Vitra, and some things that I've been really going into more lately because of the correlations with the Nordic tradition and really what we're up against, this fucking shadow dragon, Jack Donovan. Yeah. He talks about right.
The way of man.
Right, the way of man. It's fucking excellent shit. He talks about the dragon negation. And what is it that we're negating here? It's our fucking soul. It's the very fucking soul traded out in terms of a concept of vicarious atonement where you don't have to take responsibility in terms of your life and existence and incarnation here. Fall into a fucking belief system and we're going to think for you and you need to submit and do what you're fucking told. Otherwise, you're going to be condemned to fucking eternity. That level of fear programming is so fucking embedded on an unconscious level within the Western fucking culture. And people think that this is what the West goes back to, this particular religion. We both know the true tradition and the codes activating within our fucking templates, working to get our fucking attention. As far as I'm concerned, that's why they did what they did in 2020. Because our people were waking the fuck up.
One thing I'm actually seeing is people who aren't going down the whole scientism route, whatever. A lot of young men I've seen are trying to get into Orthodox Christianity at the moment.
That's all a part of the fucking program. It's like clockwork. You can see it. I
see a lot of that, and every time I try to say that's not our true tradition, they go, "Oh, you pagans, your tradition's been dead." No, it hasn't.
No.
There's pagan traditions that have been preserved throughout all that time. People need to understand the culture, and even probably into the modern era, was still pagan. It was in the culture, literally. All that happened was the church became a dominant force. It did not wipe out our culture completely. This what needs to be understood. We still practiced aspects of our own spiritual tradition, but it went underground and was very rurally practiced. It wasn't in the center anymore. That's what people need to understand. This idea that my tradition's broken and it's bullshit. It's absolutely all bullshit.
No, what we have is an unbroken tradition that goes back millions of fucking years in the prehistory.
Yeah, millions, yeah.
A lot of it's in our blood and bones. Both you and I and other people that I know in network, we're living. Here it is, Revolt Against the Modern World. There's this diagram in there I want to show. Illustrates. You see that? No, not really, man. Explain it, though. What are we looking at here?
The Arctic cycle of the Golden Age, which was the Hyperborean, the cycle of divine regality, fell. One of the causes for it was the Demetrian spirituality, Southern Atlantic cycle, Silver Age, priestly gynocracy, and then that fell into the Amazonian cycle, to the Afrasidic cycle, into the Iron Age. There's also the Titanic cycle, Bronze Age, Second Atlantic period, Dionysian cycle, Iron Age, and there's the heroic spirituality, Aryan cycle, Twilight of the Heroes. These three ages all overlapping. So the Golden Age was the age of divine regality, which is the Hyperborean. Then in Atlantis, when the priestly gynocracy took over, we took us down to the Amazonian cycle, Afrasidic cycle, into the Iron Age. With the Titanic cycle, with the Bronze Age, took us down to the Second Atlantic period, into the Dionysian cycle, into the Iron Age. That should be something to think about.
Get into the gynocracy.
Yeah, so the gynocracy is basically the feminized priestly class.
Right, the castrated.
Yeah, the dismantling of the greatness that was built by the regality. When I get into the regality, I'm not talking about some pseudo-royalty you have today. I'm talking about divine regality. That's the ones that truly embody that golden age, the Hyperborean age, the shaman kings, the ones that had to be the aesthetic but also be the warrior. Right. So it had to have the two. Whereas the gynocracy is a degeneration of that dismantling. It's the regality gives that divine spark, creates a new cycle from the...
I'll tell you one thing. Spirit behind the gynocracy absolutely fucking abhors the divine masculine seed. Mm-hmm. And the principle of what a man's true position in this realm originally was in context to being in the position to lead, to guide, to teach, to pour forth, and to seed forth vision. That's the purpose of the divine masculine force, is to seed, right? We seed reality. We are the stars. We are the fucking galaxies. We are the sparks of ignition of fucking life within dark matter womb itself. Tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are not what they seem. Life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not its goal. Dust thou art, and dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul. Not enjoyment, and not sorrow, is our destiny end or way, but to act that each morrow finds us farther than today. Art is long, and time is fleeting, and our hearts, though stout and brave, still like drums are beating. Funeral marches to the grave, in the world's broad field of battle, in the bivouac of life. Be not like dumb, driven cattle. Be a hero in the strife. Trust no future. Let the play past bury its dead. Act in the living present. Heart within, and God, O Arid, we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Footprints that perhaps another sailing o'er life's solemn main, a forlorn and shipwrecked brother, seeing shall take heart again. Let us, then being up and doing, with a heart for any fate, still achieving, still pursuing, learn to labor and to wait. This is Sethikus Boza, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts, and Occult Science. Temple of the White Dragon here with Maximus North. We'll be right back, right after the break. friends, we are back. This is Sethikus Boza, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts of the Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon. I have Maximus North, he's been on before. That's the wound. And the wound, that being fucking hijacked in context and cutting off that fucking spark, all goes back to the sun. And all of these things that were later appropriated through religion, they want that to be cut off constantly. And then we see, you know, what's happening in the world with this whole transgender fucking agenda, that ideology being fucking normalized. It was part of a dark fucking priest class, but now this has gone out into the fucking world, into fucking society.
Yeah.
Giving the young people this state of fucking mind. It's pulled everything further and further into fucking meaninglessness and madness that I can't fucking stand.
But the Zoomer generation particularly have been targeted with this, because at least us millennials and Gen Xers, if you look at culture we absorbed, there was still masculine archetypes there. You can remember.
There still is, man.
There is that, but I'm saying the culture that is catered to the Zoomers has deleted that. Following guys like Andrew Tate as a way of rebellion, they see that as the only source of masculinity left. I can't blame them for that, to be honest. There is a rebellion starting within some Zoomer men, fed up with it now. You could see a backlash from men in the future that would really, really get things back again.
It's just become pathetic as fuck, man. I'm totally uninspired by most of the fucking shit that I see out there. When you stare the Dark Goddess in the fucking eyes, which I fucking have, it's absolute and total fucking abhorrence for not just life, but the potential of the original timeline manifesting in the face of what is working to be implemented. We are at fucking war in a way that I have never thought imaginable, because it's not happening in some sort of fucking simulation. All the fucking video games and everyone that is into that kind of shit getting sucked into a fucking simulation, they don't even fucking see what's happening in our own fucking world, where we fucking stand. Mechanized and unenlightened, totally fucking dead. And that's what is required, the dark womb factor. That's what brings in these fucking entities to ride in on these fuckers. Otherwise, being castrated isn't just being castrated physically speaking, it's being castrated from your fucking soul. It's being castrated from your fucking eternal spirit. It's castration on every fucking level imaginable.
Mm-hmm. This is why they've gone to the lens to demonize masculinity as much as possible. A man needs to be aggressive and angry. That's part of what it is to be a man. You're just going against that nature itself. It's going against what a man's nature is. People think I'm fucking fascist or something for saying I want to put out more masculine, more heroic ideas and stuff. Ideas that basically are about strength and, like, you know,
what
being
the
a warrior.
fuck does that have to do with fascism? And not see it for what the fuck it is on its own.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fascist. I'm just saying, this is how these people fucking think.
This is what it's the education system and the media has put these ideas, the boomer generation, since after World War II. The Nazis and Hitler are the ultimate evil. The idea that they've been put as the ultimate evil has basically created this idea that anything that slightly relates to that is evil in itself, and it should be just dismissed.
You have to understand that Germany is the main target, and it always fucking has been. The Germanic, because of what it goes back to. Yeah,
exactly. And people do not know this, that the Nazis were meant to be defeated. It was a conspiracy, was set up, and they're meant to be defeated. The idea is that basically Europeans could never assert themselves as a people ever again. What you're seeing happening to Europe now, what you're seeing to anywhere where Europeans are, we're being flooded by mass migration. Men are being feminized. What was once great has dissolved and dismantled. Things were wrong.
I understand the circumstance, man, but this is why motherfuckers need to wake up and men need to rise the fuck up, knowing the goddamn difference, man. That's the purpose of this platform, your platform, everything that we fucking do. What the fuck is the point? I just recently met with 30 fucking men. That to me is still not enough, but it's still a fucking step in the right goddamn fucking direction. We discussed all of these things over fire, over ritual.
There is going to come a point where the men will have to assert themselves, and it's going to be becoming more and more prevalent as we get on.
It's not going to be pretty, man.
Men have to get back to being men again. This whole feminization of men, this whole constant pleasure seeking, that's going to come to an end, and that divine spark will come back.
All being fat enough for the fucking kill, man. That's what all of that is designed for. And Goldvig is fattening your ass up. The gynocracy is fattening your asses up.
And they want you like that so you can be on their diabetes pills. To go down to the gym these days is seen as an act of rebellion. A man going down to the fucking gym and work on his body and keep it in good shape is now an act of rebellion. Like, you're trying to be superior to everyone else. And
yeah, you're goddamn right. I'm fucking superior to this fucking idiocy. I will be superior to this fucking idiocy, and you will be superior to this fucking idiocy. And every fucking man listening to this is going to be superior over this fucking goddamn idiocy. What the fuck is wrong with that? Being better. Yeah. There's winners and fucking losers in terms of reality. Equality is fucking bullshit.
It's actually quite interesting about idiocy. I didn't actually find very much of it funny, but I did find it basically very telling of what it's like now.
Yeah,
really.
That movie came out.
We're only 2 steps away from that.
Whether it's predictive programming or whatever. Yeah. The lack of drive and meaning and purpose and the true will being revealed, taking it back to the Heru. That's what they don't want us to access. That's what they don't want us to fucking learn how to remember to fucking.
I like to get like what Horus is or Heru.
Yeah, you've been working with Horus for a long time, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have. I see it as divinity. If you look at the divinity Heru, he is the divine king. He is that divine spark. He is that warrior. Osiris isn't so much a warrior. Heru is a warrior. He's the warrior king, and he goes to war for Set, and he can actually fight Set, but Osiris can't. Osiris represents the old king, the one who's gone through it already. So Heru is that new horizon. He's to battle Set on the plane.
We're still up against the cult of Aton.
The cult of Aton, yes.
It's been like this since what happened, and that's the goddamn fucking crux of everything. Take it back to the Savatians, the fucking goddamn Gaion, the gynocracy. That's the fucking goddamn crux to the procession. This is what people still do not fucking get, and that's why nothing has fucking worked on the fucking levels until people fucking really fucking learn this shit and realize what we have been up against and also what's required. Taking it to Horus. You've been working with Horus for a long time, ever since I've known you, man, back in the day, way back in the day.
I even actually got the Eye of Horus tattoo on my back. It's actually, I put a ring of runes around it. Been working with the Heru for a long time.
Okay, right. This is my guy. Horus.
Right. This sounds like one of him in FALCON form here.
Yeah. Beautiful. All of these things have meaning. Yeah. They mean something.
He's also the celestial FALCON, the one who has the bigger picture in all of this. You can see the whole of it. He's not just seeing one small tiny detail. The sun and moon are his eyes as well, like King Arthur. The Arthurian goes back to the Anglo-Saxon and Brythonic myths. One day it said that he's going to come back. That Arthurian consciousness is going to rise up within.
It's absolutely what's been taking place, man. Again, these aren't just topics of conversation. This is what we're fucking living and making happen.
Yeah.
Whether it's within our own domains, which it definitely fucking should be, let alone wherever we step. So, Horus, for me, I've definitely had interface. When I made the segment, what the true will force is and how to actually tap the true will force, 2.5 hour dissertation, man, to get into all the details of what I was able to dive into. The correlations I've been able to make in terms of the Nordic tradition to Kemet are absolutely undeniable in terms of my templating, man. You were mentioning Hyperborea. If you can make the correlations to the knighthood, King Arthur, Horus, all of these things, man, that'd be fucked up.
So Hyperborea was the primordial true civilization that did exist up in the north, and what happened was Lemuria and Hyperborea came together, and that's what basically birthed Atlantis. Atlantis was an exchange of Hyperborea and Lemurian culture. The Hyperboreans were patriarchal, but the Lemurians were matriarchal, and Lemuria came from the south, and when these two collided they did create something called Atlantis. Atlantis wasn't over a place, it was an idea, but there was a primordial form of Atlantis. It was birthed that did go into it and degenerated, and that gave birth to the gynocracy, which basically ended up destroying Atlantis and splintering it off. And since then, we've had these civilizational cycles, one by one. And though these civilizational cycles do start with intentions of trying to revive the primordial tradition, they have also failed to do that. It's not to say that these aspects of their wisdom and knowledge within these civilizations is anything wrong with it. It's basically how they've all been corrupted at some point. And obviously there was cultures before. Not every culture is a civilization. Tribal societies are not civilizations. civilization has to consist of city-states and the written word in order to be a civilization. But that doesn't mean that advanced cultures didn't exist either. Our ancestors, when we were living in tribal societies, we weren't inferior, less than we were when we were civilized. In some ways, we were in fact more superior because we actually had higher degrees of, I think, IQ to actually be able to survive in such conditions. And we did have our own spiritual traditions, but they were passed down orally instead of writing it down. And when you get into the written word, I think one of the reasons why a lot of these civilizations do come corrupt is because they do write a lot of their knowledge down. And there's benefits to that, but there's also negatives. A lot of those things can be misinterpreted down the line. And that's what's happened. You've gone into detail about the whole Faustian consciousness. And Thoth was the scribe. He wrote the history down and he wrote the traditions down, but what did that lead? It led to misinterpreting it, and only fractions of it left resulted into. So when it comes to Hyperborea, that's the primordial tradition in many ways. And when it comes to Avalon, Avalon is more reminiscent of Hyperborea. And when it talks about the Tufa Danan coming from the north, that's also references to Hyperborea. And even the ancient Greeks said that our own people were of Hyperborea, that the tribes of the north, the ancient Greeks pointed out, were of Hyperborea, and they saw one of the forests as the Hyperborean landscape.
It all goes back to Udma as far as what the current saga has revealed. All of this is fucking real, and it's being remembered. And as far as I'm concerned, with what not only I've experienced, but what I've been able to correlate, and even listening to other people over the fucking years, this tradition is even more fucking ancient than Atlantis and Lemuria. And that goes back to a pre-fall timeline trajectory that nobody knows what the fuck was even before, man. Okay? And that is what this gynocracy, this fucking parasite, does not want us to fucking remember, because the ancient grids are lighting up. Take it back to Albion. Everything, as far as I'm concerned, is later. It came way fucking later. But this is where people are as far as the healing progression. Say they come into, knowledge about a thing, and they think that they have arrived. But they don't understand how deep all of this actually fucking goes in tradition that cannot be denied any fucking longer. Evidence of it's all across the board. These codes are awakening within our people. So the betrayals in context of Thoth was able to present that dissertation right before what hit in 2020. That's all too fucking ironic. Getting back to the true traditions and who we really are, it's all labyrinthine, labyrinth of the nine veils.
Yeah.
Most of humanity stands at the first veil. Second veil is where the real war is taking place. Let's just go back to 2020 for a second, because I know you went through the fucking goddamn ringer. You had some crazy shit go the fuck down. You were off the fucking rails there for a minute. Go into that a little bit and share with everyone your experience in terms of that, and then coming back onto where things are now.
Well, 2020, back in 2010, I had a similar thing, and back in the year 2000, I had a similar thing. So it seems to be this 9-year cycle. But in 2020, I actually think something did possess me for a while. Looking back at it now, I wasn't really...
Right, didn't it start taking you into a nihilistic philosophy?
Nihilist, yeah. What happened back in 2020, I don't know if you've said so much in the States, but here in Europe, the lockdown was like 1984, a communist dictatorship. You were under house arrest for almost a year. I'm not joking. What they did is they sucked that need for adventure or exploration out of everyone.
Yeah.
They basically just zapped the exploration, that need for inspiration out of everyone. Loads of people suffered from deep depression like never before for that. They had complete control over the world at that time. Their power level has gone back down. I'm not going to go too much into factions, but there are different factions. And what has happened now is the WF Davos transhumanist crowd. 2020 was when they had complete control over the world. Since all these wars have been starting in Eastern Europe and the Middle East, the elite what run America, the Zionist neocons, a lot of the power has gone back to them. The whole transhumanist crowd, their power level has basically gone back down, equal the playing fields again from what there wasn't before. What I was going through then, that winter of 2020, 2021, I got somehow possessed by something. And I think a lot of other people did as well.
Talk about that experience, though. What was that like for you?
It was all a darkness in the mind. It got me to just hate humanity in general. Tried to drive me away from actually wanting to be human. And this is when the transhumanists completely took over. the time where they thought they could implement the timeline because they'd do it too soon.
Check it out, man.
Yeah.
Right now, we're at a point where timelines are being decided, but nothing has been solidified. We've had time. We held this shit the fuck back as far as I It didn't completely take over the entire fucking world, even though, goddamn motherfuckers, you almost got the fucking world.
What happened is they got way too cocky and basically implemented that transhumanist timeline way too soon. That exposed their agenda. Their power level has gone back down in terms of like all the different factions, but they were the proper leading top faction at that time.
All of this in terms of the AI timeline, that's the crystalline Syrian bees in context. As far as far, we've spoken about this extensively already in terms of segments we've done before. Everything that we've ever touched upon and gotten into is 100% fucking true. Now, going back to things in terms of what was present in our world before this timeline manifested, where evil was given birth into our fucking realm. What people don't realize is that evil has its fucking birthday. It wasn't always present, obviously, because if it was, then that would be the fucking reality. But in terms of the contrast and the original timeline trajectory, the pre-fall activation of our codes is what these motherfuckers were working to prevent in 2020. And the reason why they fucking panicked is because this is what the fuck is happening. It's been happening since 2017. And they can't stop what's coming. What people don't realize is that our kind haven't even made their fucking strike yet. We're still observing what has taken place since this has happened. I saw fuckers get taken the fuck over fully by these reptilian, draconian fucking entities, man. So if people think that this shit isn't fucking real, or whatever's in the fucking needlecraft as far as the old ones are concerned, these motherfuckers don't want us talking about this. There's evidence of that in the Black Earth Library.
The entities and being real, they definitely are. I think this might relate to the fourth veil. Very, very vivid dreams, real in a surreal world. The types of things that would never happen in reality. It's real but surreal at the same time. I see faces coming towards me, proper vivid. I close my eyes, I see faces. Some of them I think are ancestors, but then some of them I can tell they're not. I see random faces, I close my eyes and I see random faces coming towards like that, going back like that, and then some at the side coming through and everything. That's becoming stronger and stronger in my vision in the last few years. And the same with the dreams as well. They've been more vivid, more lucid, more and more than ever before now, hitting the fourth veil. A lot of people are at the first veil, at the very edge of it, while we're at the fourth veil.
Yeah, we're way beyond the fucking fourth.
All right.
The fourth veil specifically is the core wound of humanity, which has never been fully healed in terms of the collective unconscious grid works.
Yeah.
And so the trickle in terms of consciousness when it comes to what's happening with the collective, it's all controlled from the second veil.
Right. Yeah. The blood.
So,
yeah.
Four square, you got the first two veils, and the veil, the fourth veil, that's four. That being the fucking cube, the lockdown, the 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 in terms of triangulation factors. The fucking insane crux with everything when it comes to the checkerboard mutation is that trifecta. Because the trifecta fractals out on itself. I talk about this extensively. It's so unbelievably obvious once you fucking see it. That first veil factor, you're totally 100% correct. The second veil, though, is even fucking worse. And that's where people are going to start having experiences like we did early on, having interface.
Second veil goes into the blood.
Well, it's where the real war is taking place. Taking back to the first war of the gods, which manipulates dream time and then locks us down in terms of that core wound being what is motivating most people in terms of their fucking lives. And not the true will force and context to that being ignited. The Heru, the fucking bridge gate in terms of templating and completely overriding this fucking shit and activating our codes within the genome. That's what these fuckers didn't want to fucking have happen. That's why they flipped out in 2020. That's what was happening, and that's what continues to happen. People still have an opportunity, as far as I'm concerned, man, to get back. But this nihilistic fucking fuck the future, and it's all this solipsistic postmodern bullshit that continues to fucking plague people otherwise.
I've watched your Labyrinth of the Nine Veils. The first veil is knowing about the sorcery and the corruption and everything like that. The second veil is getting into like own trauma, comes from within.
That's definitely part of the second veil to go on.
Yeah. And then the third veil was when the reason why most people can't make it to the third veil is because that's when you escape the control of the Dark Ones.
It's learning how to master dream time, quest, journeys, or you can control the outcome of certain things. Holy shit. Learning how to master dream time because, nightmare, shit that come up, triangulated from the third, and then also pulling from the fourth veil, and everyone's enthralled to the fucking first, completely fucking programmed with distortions and belief systems and indoctrination and fucking Hollywood.
So the fourth veil gets back to the ancestral trauma, just your personal one, but your ancestral trauma.
Yes. And with that, we're going to take a break. This is Sethikus Boza, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts and Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon here with Maximus North. We'll be right back, right after this.
these blistering splinters, they pierce on the wheel of time. The portals are rendered the gates unto the fates. Kultara, our blood codes reign. Remember, Kultara, on the fields of oaths we swore, the Dragonborn, we are the wolves of Albion. The venomous vampires we slaughter, the force forlorn, yet reborn. Feel the anthem beyond, the night side mythologies. This is Sethikus Boza, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts and Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon, here with Maximus North. Now, to continue.
Then the fifth is more beyond that.
In terms of numerology, 5 is the signature frequency of freedom. Once the fourth veil is able to be pierced and overcome, you go through the alchemical rites and initiation. That's where you really start to experience true freedom, and then the integration process of what takes place. The whole concept of grid works and veils. The grid work of the higher self. We've been veiled from that. So it's not just lower astral shit in terms of veils, it's the higher grid works of consciousness that are also part of the veils that we've been cut off from, right on down to the fucking first veil. That quest, that hero's quest, that journey that we take to discover actual rites of initiation and how to move past these things so that we're not living as slaves, that we're not living in fear, that we're not pulled out into all this fucking shit. And getting back to the integration factors when it comes to pre-fall knowledge. Living that and us, remember how to anchor that, not just going out and fighting these fuckers, but giving people a viable solution. Otherwise, this is fucking hopeless as fuck out there right now. The walking fucking dead, bro. Straight up, just fucking pathetic. It's weak. It's castrated, like we were talking about, man. Yeah.
What I've been going through, the dreams I've been going through, and getting back to the ancestral wound affecting us, all those faces that come towards me. Do you have that as well? All these things coming more intense than they once were some years ago?
Oh yeah, dream time especially, man. I had a very trippy dream in terms of time travel this morning. I woke up, went back to bed, went lucid. That's the best way to really, then you catch that space right before it hits REM. Another technique is looking at your hands. If you realize you've gone lucid and you look at your hands, again, magician needs their hands to operate, even in that realm. That's one technique, but yeah, it's all these random fucking people that I'm having interaction with, whatever reason. So the whole concept of oversoul, there's 12 different, versions of us on different timelines doing different things to, pull this whole alignment in terms of the fucking procession, man. So I was having interaction, but I had this fucking staff, dude, and it was the most advanced technology. I can't even put it into fucking words, man, but it was ultra advanced technology, organic. It was unlike any other fucking staff that I ever held in my hands as I was observing it. And then of course I'm my fucking hands. I was fucking time traveling, man. Fuck up. And I could literally go anywhere and make anything fucking happen because I had also been trusted with a different level. This organic technology I'm able to, this fucking staff was just absolutely fucking amazing. There was a few other people that I actually knew in the dream, and I was conveying some of these things, showing them how to work this shit. And then he was gone on timelines and making dimensional shifts. And this is what we get to fucking do when you actually live a life of alignment. You're doing exactly what you're here to do. Your life, you got your temporal existence in order. You get to basically do whatever the fuck you want and study and manifest all this different kind of stuff. So it's a beautiful fucking thing when you find that true sense of meaning and the whole getting sucked into the abyss and being castrated. That's for the fucking losers, bro. And we don't operate like fucking losers. We're not equal to fucking losers in terms of our fucking life and what we're able to produce. The veils, the third veil, dream time. It's very powerful when you can make things happen there because you have much more control of what happens in real time if you can master the third veil. That's where a lot of that war is taking place as well. The battles and shit like that, the nightmare fucking scenarios and realms. I remember before what hit in 2020, I got pulled into the fourth veil and I had to opt the fuck out because it was the absolute most horrific fuck shit imaginable, like horror movie times a fucking billion trillion, and that was before what hit. So there was a warning there. You're talking about all these different faces. Yeah, I definitely experienced that. However, it was for you, what was the nature of these faces and the interaction with them, though? Or were you just observing it?
It happens when I close my eyes a lot of the time, and they'll show themselves and then they'll go past like that. I don't get a malevolent feeling out of all of them, but there's these ones what now and again come past and they are malevolent. Last night they had these clown faces. It was weird.
Look at the fucking world. It's turned into a fucking clown world. A bunch of fake ass motherfuckers. Here we are gathering oil of spirit, metaphysically speaking. There's going to come a point where these people are going to fucking realize I don't have what's necessary, and they're going to try to fucking take. That's what I'm getting. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, it does. They don't have any inner power of their own. So they need some sort of external power instead.
A bunch of clown vampire fuckers, man.
Yeah, when the transhumanist agenda starts to roll itself out, they're going to be the first to get those fucking chips in their brain. Wires coming at them and shit.
The AI timeline happens, but it doesn't fucking last. I've already
it does.
seen what's going to fucking happen.
It's going to basically fall this short-term timeline.
Agenda 2030, 2045, 50, all that shit. The whole idea that entire human races are going to be fucking annihilated by then, that's fucking bullshit. That is a bullshit narrative that we cannot co-sign whatsoever. And it's the fucking shit that people are fucking buying in terms of propaganda and the fucking fear and on and on and on, and people go about it. The reason why is because they don't have a trajectory of anything past it. And that's what we're obviously living it, manifesting it. The reason why we're getting the fucking results is because we're doing the real fucking work. We're not planning fucking clown shit.
If you look at a lot of the sci-fi stuff, it's always about dystopian future, a sector as an inevitability. It's pretty depressing. They go along with it because they can't imagine anything else because it's been so programmed into them. They don't see any other possible way other than that timeline. When we offer another alternative,
it's not going backwards. It's getting back onto the fucking timeline that humanity's meant to fucking be on in terms of us being fucking derailed on account of the fucking betrayal.
Yeah.
This shit that's unfolding is something that's already fucking happened. It's what led to the most recent fucking cataclysm. It's just a fucking repeat. And this is what people understand about the true occult history. Remind us of what already fucking happened if that keeps fucking going. It's just going to be a repeat in another 26,000 years? Yeah, if we don't wake the fuck up. The fucking memory wipe. It's a risk enough incarnating into this fucking realm. You take a risk getting a fucking mind wipe coming in because, certain fuckers that are templated, like myself, like you, they don't want these fucking codes activating and being implemented and reminding people.
Graham Hancock, have you heard of him? How he's making these ideas about what Michael Tazarian has talked about in his books about the cataclysm. I can remember 10 years ago when I would try to talk to people about this idea. No one was interested. Everyone just laughed it off and thought this was ridiculous. But now that Graham Hancock has come out of it, hit the mainstream, which was occulted for many years, has now been brought out to the public.
Yeah, it's like I've said, people are going to have to catch up, shared and revealed, not only on my platform, but yours and other people, man. Like Michael Tessarian, straight up. One of the greatest occult scholars of our time. And if people don't listen to Michael, they fucking need to. It's mind-blowing shit. So many confirmations over the years. Yeah. So this is coming out more into the mainstream.
Yeah, the idea of Irish origins of civilization, what we were just speaking about, like the whole cataclysm of Atlantis and all that kind of stuff. Graham Hancock has presented it in the mainstream now. So after all those years of trying to tell people, one guy in the mainstream gets to put out a book about it, and now they're all into it to get the masses. I had actually conversations with people about it now, but 10 years ago, I was just speaking to
like you're fucking crazy, man. Right?
Yeah.
It's all the phases that truth goes through. First, it's rejected. Second, it's violently fucking opposed. Violence. The third phase, when it eventually becomes self-evident. And it has to become self-evident. Not just hearing about these things, experiencing the whole idea that there was something greater before. Why not grab onto that idea in terms of meaning to our fucking existence? This is our fucking lives, our opportunity. It's not so much about the past. What are we doing now? How are we living this now? Informing other people now. Living in the face of this fucking evil. I do it every single fucking day. It's just hard because of the contrast. You want everyone to fucking get it, right? Because of how much meaning it has wanting to share that Who the fuck is this guy? You know, we've been talking about this shit the last 20 fucking years now. But it just goes to prove, I think, if we stand our ground.
Oh, yeah, I see it as people like us look ahead where
Oh, yeah.
the average person is in terms of realizing the things that people who wouldn't have been into aliens 10 years ago and now taking an interest.
So what about aliens? Let's talk about that a bit.
There's stuff I disagree with what they think. They're expecting aliens to come. You've also got the conspiracy stuff. What really annoys me when it comes to the aliens thing is this idea that the aliens are going to come save us.
It all goes back to savior programming.
Yeah, it is.
Taking responsibility for your life and your existence and incarnation, being the fucking hero.
Yeah.
It plagues into this shit that you were getting at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. It does. And getting into the other ideas of they built all the civilizations, they built the pyramids, which is a load of shit. We built all the pyramids, us humans did, not aliens. What I'm talking about with the astrological chart, the different star systems, that goes way too over people's heads. They can't comprehend.
Fuck, man, they can't even distinguish between men or women now.
Yeah.
You're gonna fucking get into that kind of fucking shit in terms of templating and codes and galactic styles of creation and all that. It's codes. When people say Pleiadian, Syrian, Arcturian, Orion, all of these things, and we know this, these are celestial codes that are there within our templating, give us access to a specific grid work of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
It's not about fucking aliens.
This is the idea. They don't understand what you said, the real thing, what to do with your own inner templating rather than ancient alien stuff.
And it's our template in terms of being human. You can't be connected to the cosmos otherwise. And that's what these other fucking beings aren't. They're not extraterrestrial. They're interdimensional. Riding in on the fucking codes in guise. And now you think it's about fucking aliens. No, motherfuckers. This is about your fucking templating and your fucking codes.
Yeah.
And these specific factions want to rake them the fuck out. Gets flipped into this fucking narrative.
Yeah.
That they've been able to fucking pitch to people. I'm not saying I haven't had interface with these beings because I have, but I know what they are. And I know the game. And it's all about knowing the fucking game so you don't get or templating fucking siphoned or you know spliced, or the name of the game on the celestial level is fucking genetics. Fuck up. It's all about trade. Trade of codes, trade of fucking data, right? Trade of knowledge and abilities, skills. And going back to the crux of the procession, they want to ride in on the consciousness and genetics of mankind, but they themselves don't want to become human in order to obtain the higher. So what do they do through religion? What do they do through all the different fucking egregores out there, even government and statism and fucking communism and fascism and socialism, what the fuck ever, keyed into their specific agenda and grid works, and they can control the fucking narrative and the fucking timeline with it. Yeah, they'll give you your fucking tradition, just as long as it doesn't fucking completely eradicate and destroy their fucking goddamn agendas like our tradition fucking does. This is why white people are the most fucking targeted right now. Why? Because we hold the fucking fire tablet.
Yeah, it's true. We do.
We hold the fire tablet.
It's because we have such an influence on all the other peoples of the world, culturally throughout the world. We did learn from people and they learned from us. If we get back onto our indigenous tradition, then the whole world will actually take influence from that and get back onto theirs. And that's why they're so afraid of us realizing who we are as individuals, but also more as a people. I changed the word as a folk. That's the traditional word for it, a folk, not a people. As a folk, we are inspirational through the entire world. We will influence other folk to realize who they are as well. That's why they want to have us moved out of the way. Obviously, it's not going to happen. Eventually, there's going to come a tipping point. We'll realize ourselves again. I do think that's going to happen on a larger scale. It will happen. It's an inevitability at the end of the day.
Most definitely. And that's what's happened over here, like I mentioned. Very, very powerful trip that I just took. And things that I templated forth and even set forth as intention to manifest have fucking manifested 100%. They can't stop what the fuck is coming. All we have to do is stand our ground and continue to inform and live this. Going back to the Faustian fucking Pact, it only satisfies the present moment. It's not concerned about the fucking future. everything I'm doing, I'm thinking about the next generations, future generations, 1,000 fucking years ahead.
Yeah.
And to not see meaning in terms of what we do in this life and what we implement knows what sort of impact it's going to have. You can't negate that shit.
History only ever changes by a few great men. It never changes by the masses.
Right.
The masses don't change history. A few great men change history. That influences the masses to manifest that greatness. You can look into the past, there's only ever been very few great men, and that's what does change the course of history. This is why they want things like communism, socialism, fascism, because what is that all about? It's about getting the masses to do the changing. That's not how it works.
Make a fucking goddamn Borg.
Yes, exactly. That doesn't work like that. That's why I'm saying this is why equality is a load of shit, because there are people that strive to more greatness than others, and that's just the way it is, and that's the way it has always been.
And that's what's being encouraged. Otherwise, I mean, what the fuck? Why else are you on Earth except to live a life of purpose and meaning?
Yeah.
Not just unto yourself, but for future generations, to make this goddamn world a better fucking place and get back to what the fuck is real, instead of this fake ass fucking bullshit that everyone's fucking co-signing, and they wonder why they're fucking miserable.
It puts out the illusion that they're trying to make the world a better place, but really it isn't, because it feeds off victim mentality.
Right.
They see themselves as victims, not as heroes. That's the difference. Basing a whole ideology on victimhood isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to view yourself as the hero, striving for something great.
Everyone's programmed to plague the fucking victim.
Exactly.
That's what all of these fucking religions have plagued.
Yeah.
And that's why they go for the fucking lie. That's why they go for anything that negates their position in terms of taking responsibility to it. And then they wonder why they fucking suffer. That's why they fucking suffer, man. It's because they're not taking responsibility. They're not being the fucking hero. The whole idea that the hero is fucking dead. No, the hero is on the fucking rise. The Heru, the hero. The Heru.
That's the original word for the hero. It comes from Heru.
Right.
The victim consciousness isn't going to get you anywhere. It's going to lead you into a state of absolute depression and anxiety.
It's subtle how it fucking creeps too. There's almost an extreme false comfort to it. You don't have to do anything. Yeah,
it's basically saying, let's just get the government to do everything for me. I'm just like living in a nanny state.
More and more advertisements about government checks being handed out.
The UBI. The recent prime minister in this country, he's trying to form some sort of UBI, this new currency, and it's all digital. So it gives you basically a certain amount of money a week, but you have to spend it in an amount of time, and then it reboots. You can never save it up. It basically just reboots every single month.
You don't get to go out there and fucking make shit happen. We're just going to give you some credits.
Yeah. You only can spend them on certain things as well. You can't spend them on what you want. It's basically just taking away your own financial and economic freedom. The government's trying to push for that. Government, you get away from it as well. A lot of people are a lot more skeptical about the government now, people who weren't years ago. There is, in your country, and you have quite a strong anti-government movement going on there. I recognized it when I was looking into politics back in the day.
It's a lot more than people fucking realize too.
Especially in the States and your country, really, there is a huge anti-government movement. Like, hate the government more than anything. It's something I'm actually quite envious of. We're starting to, but there's a lot of the English consciousness or the British consciousness can be quite sheep-like. The thing is, we compensate politeness for a lot of things. We have to stand up for ourselves, choose politeness.
You and your people over there, you got to get back to the fucking fire that's there within the fucking soul of Albion itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Those works the fucking consciousness. I'm over here in the American territories. I am literally over the original birth waters of the fucking earth. When the land was together, in context of Pangea, where I'm living is directly connected to fucking Kemet, straight the fuck up. And the land,
really?
I make contracts with the fucking lands here.
I do know of certain place names the way you are, like Memphis, for example.
Yeah. Memphis is not even 130 miles from here. That was a part of my travels going from Memphis.
Yeah. There's place names here in England who are named after the gods, like Woden's Road, Thor's Oak, and stuff like that. There's actually a lot of place names named after our ancestral gods here.
It's like that over here where I'm living too. Yeah. There's actually a town called Odin up the way.
Really?
Right next to Mount Ida.
Yeah.
Ida goes back to the land that manifests the Ragnaroker in context. You know, the correlation to the land here is just ironic, even going down south into Louisiana. That was a Kemet as well.
We actually have a lot of Egyptian Kemetic artifacts here in this country. For the only reason that you don't get any Islamic radicals smashing shit up like they do in their own countries. Now, I'd rather them actually be back in Egypt.
Egypt, in terms of current geography versus what it was, they got Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon. Like
really?
Secret, yeah. It's all archive places that people are not allowed to fucking go. I'm talking about treasure trove of fucking ancient artifacts that are directly connected to Kemet. Native American tribes know about it, the Hopi.
There's actually Norse burials in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And
think of Canada, the north, going up into the Arctic Circle. Mm-hmm. When the land was all together at one time, you had Iceland, Europe, Sweden, Finland, Russia, everything. The kingdom of the Great North.
Yeah.
This goes back to the Hyperborean time. Pre-Atlantean timeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Way, way more fucking ancient than the narrative to the post-fall timeline versus pre-fall, and everything in terms of the ancient Druidic tradition and the Nordic tradition all go back to that time. Mm-hmm. So it's unbroken in terms of our history. And these codes activating again. Memories. Who wouldn't want to be a hero, man? Mm-hmm. When you were a boy, right? Yeah. When you had that fucking sword and shield playing fucking Conan. This is me when I was a kid. Look, that's me.
Oh, yeah. Sword.
It says battle gear, swords, and sorcery. That's my mother in the back. She's smart. Yeah. That's my mother right there. So that's me when I was a kid, right? That was one of my favorite things. My uncle got that shit.
When I was a kid, I was really into Hercules. I've actually got a statue of Hercules right here. I'll show you it now. Hercules,
okay.
Yeah. You see,
he's fighting the Hydra.
Yeah. It's Hercules what got me into astrology, because I was looking through the 12 Herculean myths.
You're talking about the labors?
Yeah, the labors. The myth about him fighting the Hydra and the myth about him fighting the Nemean lion both relate to two of my astrological, Leo and the Cancer within me, because Cancer relates to him battling the Hydra because he gets bitten by a crab in the water when he's battling Hydra, and the Nemean lion represents Leo. So both of those signs are in me, and that's what led me into getting into astrology myself. So it was actually Hercules that brought me into my interest in astrology.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with the Greek myths when I was young. So since probably the age of 7, I used to read all about them and everything, and I used to remember all the names of all the various gods, heroes, the monsters, the titans, and etc.
Go into that.
The thing is finding these hero archetypes, or divinities, I like to call them, for inspiration in. I didn't start getting into my own ancestral ones till later on in life. They're not so much put out there in the culture. The reason why I got into the Olympian Greek and Hellenic ones was because you have that more as an emphasis through literature. But the Norse and the Celtic ones, ancestral ones, was more real because it was in my blood. I can remember that film Jason and the Argonauts, that one from the 60s. I used to watch that a lot when I was young. They don't have films that will have that same aesthetic beauty to it. All the films now is just too much emphasis on the CGI, whereas back then it's more like watching a classical painting come alive. Getting back into that.
I remember Jason the Argonauts, man. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. I watched that film quite a lot when I was young. Mm-hmm. For anyone who does have children, introduce them to this older stuff from the youngest age possible. Read the myths of their ancestors and read them all these myths and legends, because that will go into their subconscious and inspire them later on in life. I realised from being into that when I was very young, it's given me more drive and passion. Keep your children away from anything coming out from the mainstream. That's poison. Get that stuff away from
fucking crush.
Yeah, that needs to be wiped away from them as much as possible. Get them back onto something far more deeper, far more ancestral.
Think about these fucking kids that are getting blasted with this shit. What the fuck is up with the parents? Call them the fuck out.
I would say it's evil.
Fucking evil, straight the fuck up in our faces, everybody's face.
Yeah, it is.
Well, the thing is, they're going for fucking broke, and this is what people don't realize.
You can't just ignore it anymore.
Instead of a hero, an actual hero archetype, you get some fucking transgendered drag. I heard this fucking clip of this kid fucking call it out, though, man. It was great. This kid's got good parents.
It's also his intuition probably clicked in. Intuition is actually more stronger when you're a child. It's undeniable now. I see it everywhere. People turning into orcs.
I'm the soulless, even. And there's only one true path, and that is the hero's quest.
Yeah.
It's always been like that. You could take it back to the tarot. Take it back to the gates of the tarot. Most people never, Maximus, get out of the first fucking gate. Ever.
Yeah.
Let alone into the second, the third, the fourth.
They don't get past the full card. That's the thing.
The one thing about that gate specifically is that it's everything to do with the Heru. Without the ignition of the fucking sun, of the fucking soul spark, you hearing the cry of Verus Stragas itself, the white wolf, at the feet of the fool, working to get his fucking attention. Everyone falls off the cliffside systematically, falling off the cliffside in life again and again and again and again and again and again and again. This could be lifetimes, even. How many fucking lifetimes is it going to take until you motherfuckers wake the fuck up and really get it? Your opportunity in terms of incarnation here on Earth and why you are actually here. What's the meaning and purpose of being on Earth? To be a fucking goddamn slave? To live in fear? To fall into these ideologies that completely fucking enslave your ass to Borg consciousness? Of fucking orcs. This is pathetic.
I want to be a hero myself.
Yeah.
It inspired me more than anything else. But I'm just surprised that other people don't think it's possible because they just think it's all fantasy.
But that's what happens with the play on the fucking codes. Otherwise, it's all fake ass bullshit back to being a fucking slave. Because it ain't fucking real. It ain't the real shit.
Take the lonely path for a while. It's about taking the real thing instead.
And actually embracing magic and learning magic for fucking real and learning how to heal and fucking manifest and do things in alignment in terms of your creative capacity and here to be guides for others as far as what we do. And things are still thriving. The mystery school. It's good you're back on, man, putting out content.
Max, where have you been all this time? And I go, I've just
got other shit to do, man. Just can't be. Anytime you come on with some stuff that I really liked, the last two that you put up, it's just good to get your point of view on things. I got regard for your point of view, and we've known each other for a long time. Finally putting our fucking faces on here. All the other ones just been our fucking voices, people. Using the faces behind the fucking voices, power that's driving everything and the inspiration, being a fucking hero. Why do you think this is so spoken against? Let's go there for a second. Claiming hero archetype, being the fucking hero. Why do you think this is so spoken against by others?
People don't think it's possible anymore. And like I'm saying, this rationalistic, reductionist ideas from the Enlightenment have tried to put the hero archetype to bed. This is irrational. This is why I really talk about the Enlightenment era has done so much damage to the human, made us impotent to what it is to actually be human. It's tried to domesticate us and put us in some sort of like zoo, study the human, and then say, this human needs to be fixed. He can't be this wild, full of frenzy anymore. He has to become more robotic in his being. And that's why it's been so attacked really since the Enlightenment. It's dangerous to be a hero. It's dangerous. You're a dangerous person in society if you're like this. Even back in the Middle Ages and the medieval period, as dark as it was, at least they had those hero archetypes there. Legends of King Arthur. And
that is exactly everything that we revived this fucking weekend.
Yeah.
For real. You've been a part of this with me for a while, and now fucking established. It's gone out even harder with other people in my network. Solidified. Yeah.
It's always existed all the ages. It's only been up since the Enlightenment onward. It was never really an enlightenment. It was actually the opposite of that. It was an unenlightenment to what we had before.
One thing that I know has plagued the human race is the loss in the belief in oneself. The hero cannot fucking rise otherwise. The sun within your core cannot rise unless that inner knowing is driving the true will, belief in yourself and what it's capable of. This is what they want to kill. This is why they speak against it, because of the correlations, metaphysically speaking, to fundamentals and principles. When applied, it ignites the gates of intelligence to it. Otherwise, you're eclipsed, you're sealed the fuck off. The first eye is not cracked open like I teach. And that goes back to Ra. The Aten Ra, reinstituted, was there before this pre-fall timeline trajectory into the fucking shattering of consciousness and the fucking moon chain, the 23.4 degree axis to Polaris, is why we're fucking polarized. That's also literally physically manifested, the cataclysm within our body politic, with the nervous system, the vagus nerve being the main target. And all these seals and blocks and all these things that are standing in the way in terms of how dark sorcery and mind control fucking operate. When you start to remove these factors to that ignition, that's the fucking battle. That's the fucking minotaurs. That's the fucking hydras. That's the fucking demon. That's all the fucking shit that we're fucking slaying. It's happening in real time in terms of how you're experiencing life itself. It's
The inner
as
world.
within as without, not the other way
Yeah.
around.
It's all about the inner world.
I used to not agree with this because of the sharp contrast, fucking denial that I was personally dealing with. Everything we experience in the external is a reflection of something happening internal.
Yeah.
Everything that manifests in terms of what we are experiencing. We live in a world of multiplicity, so it's not to say that it's the case 100% of the fucking time. What you are in control of, how you are having your experience in terms of everything. You could be going through all these fucking battles. That's why they want everyone hooked up to the fucking machine. So you don't go through the fucking real organic experience of what it means to become the fucking hero in your own fucking life. All those corridors are sealed the fuck off. Say someone really starts to wake the fuck up and they're not able to navigate that shit, they could go fucking mental, man. And that's unfortunate because people don't know how to navigate this fucking shit that's coming up. We're gonna have to fucking embrace it, whether we want to or fucking not. They can't stop that fucking wave of coming through, man. They're trying to rake everyone into this simulation. Otherwise, traded the fuck out. Total fucking apathy and nihilistic implosion. And it's as if they worship the fucking goddamn parasite, these fucking nihilists. Wanted to devour life. Staring the dark goddess in the fucking eyes. Fucking void. Nothing. Complete and total fucking nothingness. Total evaporation.
It was very interesting you said that. I had this experience with a female psychopath. And I can remember looking into her eyes. There's nothingness there because empty inside.
That goes back to the core wound and why when evil had its fucking birth. And like what Michael Tsarion explains as well, evil is a fucking lineage. So they're working through specific factions, family, bloodlines. On the other side of the equation, the higher is also working through certain individuals, certain fucking bloodlines and activations of templates. And it's not like these fuckers have all power. Playing on the fucking codes, just keep fucking throwing it out there, man. Holy fuck. Seen Wheel of Time? There's the original timeline and they're playing all the fucking allegory and context to it. Yet we're still part of this mechanized fucking Borg bullshit fucking contrast otherwise. The veil is very fucking thin as far as I'm concerned. We're going to be shooting lightning out of our fucking hands and all the shit like the Jedi fucking did. Why the fuck not? I've experienced magic in context to that. And I know you have as well. And this is what people don't fucking realize. We're not just talking about these things in terms of theory and practice. It's what we fucking live and what we're also experiencing.
I have experiences every single day now. If someone was to view my life, it's not so much how someone else views it. The hidden observer or the soul. Taking a backdrop, in our tradition, there's many parts of the soul, which gets into the Northern Soul Complex. I was looking through some aspect of it, like a hidden observer, seeing from that perspective. Can you understand that? This is a distant memory going right back to when I was about age 5. That's what I used to think a lot about when I was that age. Even from that age, I knew there was an evidence for a soul. And it's interesting because what Zarian and the disciples of the Mysterium, he points out how science, the higher echelons of science have discovered soul, but they call it the hidden observer. They know that the whole reductionist paradigm is bullshit. They know it. And if you speak to actually most scientists themselves aren't reductionists or atheists. Rupert Sheldrake, for example, I actually got his book here. The Science Illusion, where he talks about the quantum wave field. Let's just leave that aside, but he still has a idea of a metaphysical world, completely doing away with that whole reductionist paradigm. Michael Tsarion on Unslaved, he said that whole materialist paradigm in 10 years is going to be done away with in the mainstream.
What we take action on is going to determine what manifests in context to fucking reality. It's not ideas about ideas.
Right.
Wishful thinking and pipe fantasy land fucking bullshit off ascending into other fucking realms and this life doesn't matter. That's the simulation factor and why simulation theory in context has come out more and more.
One of the things I mostly disagree with living the simulation and how this reality isn't really real, it's just an illusion. And that's one of my biggest disagreements.
It's just another way they're making people more disassociated in terms of reality. I do not fucking agree with that idea at all. Nature of the universe exists. We exist. Our body politic exists on a multidimensional level. It's not some fucking simulation.
You are your body. To say that you're not your body is Gnosticism.
I'm not down with the Gnostic narrative.
Gnostics see your body as a prison. The only reason why you would not want to be your body is because you actually hate yourself.
Legs the victim.
That is the reason why. Gnosticism is self-hatred. Your body is a part of yourself. It's the lick. The lick is a part of the soul. Like in the Northern Soul Complex, the lick.
It's just nothing but a giant fucking identity crisis on Earth. And this is why people must come to know thyself, man.
Yeah.
You don't got a fucking chance otherwise, people.
You have various other things as well, whatever the fuck else. Yeah, it's people having an identity crisis and not being able to look in the mirror and what are you in reality?
Create that high level of disassociation in terms of the body politic from a very young age. You're going to fuck that being up its entire fucking existence.
I think it was the youngest transgender child. She said to her own mother, when she's now in her early 20s, I don't feel like myself. That's what she says. She was transitioned when she was age 5. Her own mother manipulated her into it. She says to her own mother now, I don't feel like myself.
You can't get away from it, man. This is what fucks people up mentally. In terms of being disassociated, it opens up the fucking auric field for these fucking entities claiming Pleiadian and Orion. Shut the fuck up. You can't even fucking navigate where you are on ground level being human. You don't even know how thought and emotion operate, motherfucker, and you're programmed to think you're some kind of fucking Pleiadian otherwise. And you see the twisting of what it means to embrace totemistic archetypal consciousness. The animals are extensions of human consciousness.
Yes.
It's how we connect to nature as well, man. It's the same concept in terms of codex. What I was saying, the galactic spirals of creation, getting into soul codes where people assume it's some kind of fucking alien. No, that's a grid work of consciousness that has a particular archetype, but it's not about that. It's about the integration process of everything accumulating at the spirit tip of evolution being human. And this is why these factions want to ride the fuck in, so they control the fucking narrative and the outcome and the timelines of this fucking reality and pull everything into this AI simulation where they're siphoning all of the genetics and the fucking codes.
When it comes to races, you may have several of them within you in terms of your codes. You're not one of them. You are a human now. That's the whole point. You're not that now. That's the whole point.
Well, you can have a connection to those grid works. You can have an interface, but it's not about that.
No.
It's about anchoring the higher here, where we fucking stand, mastering being human. All this other bullshit. Fuck, man. People that were on the right track, fucking idiots now. It's new age times a fucking million as far as their narratives and the hodgepodge of fucking word salad. Lisa Renee bullshit.
It's the Gnosticism that's basically
coming out talking about fucking timelines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Shit that I already fucking addressed. I said this is what's happening right now. Coming out with their fucking narratives. You motherfuckers don't realize how far ahead of the fucking game I have actually fucking been. They can't even keep up. Pulled even further into this fucking trifecta. Takes everything into the fucking Watcher's game to the Kabbalah and the Clip-Off. Play both sides of the fucking equation, and I pissed this Sophia fucking bullshit.
One of the Watchers tried to manipulate me, Archangel Raphael. That Raphael stands apparently the gate of Regulus, and that tried to manipulate me into accepting it as its guardian angel and just cut it off. When I got beyond that, Sekhmet came to me at the Regulus gate, the true guardian of that gate, not Raphael. I got a Sekhmet on my altar as well for that particular gate point, Regulus. If you have Regulus in you, this means that you're connected to royal or Regality lineage. I do have blood lords connected to royalty. I was connected to the Pharaoh's court in Kemet. This has a lot to do with the royal lines. The royalty today is just so corrupted. In my country, people still worship that fucking family. It's like a second religion in this country. The worship of the royal family. Fuck.
Oh yeah, dude, they're not even fit the rule. And interesting what you brought up in terms of pharaonic correlation to Regulus.
Yeah.
What do you think this is? I'm talking about here with me, with everything. It's all connected. And I have pretty strong codes in context of that as well. Even archaeological fucking evidence in terms of my fucking lineage, man. I got shit to show you otherwise because it is fucking real and it's who we are. And everything that was established over the fucking weekend, things came up in context to Hyperborea. All these things that we're talking about all correlates. There's so much more that's going to be revealed in the coming days, and it's awesome having you on, brother.
Thanks.
Definitely good.
Yeah.
Touching base, and I definitely look forward to more of what you're going to put forward. And if anybody wants to get a hold of you, what's a good way to get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me by going to www.falconicoven.com. via email address, which is elementa6@hotmail.com.
Everyone, pay attention to what we got into. We're not fucking around in terms of anything. Hails.
Everyone, go into the description below. That's where you're going to find all the links in the emails to get a hold of Maximus. Is to go over to the Black Earth Productions website at blackearthproductions.com. We are a legitimate mystery school that holds actual legacy to lineage and the birthright to our blood codes in terms of our position. If anybody out there is interested in actual initiation into the occult, to seek one-on-one mentorship, send me an email at blackearthproductions with an S at hotmail.com. Again, click on the website at blackearthproductions with a Z.com. Go to the services page and sign up for the level 1 apprentice, full rights initiation into the mystery school. This is where you also get full access to the Black Earth Library and archives that have been entrusted in terms with the school, made available for anybody who is willing to learn deeper beyond the current narratives that most people out there still assume otherwise to the actual truth. Also check out the products page in terms of the Nectar of Athanasia. We have Thunder God Rootvine and Apothecary and other things in terms of promotion with this platform via Black Earth Productions. It is crucial to the hour that we are in that we get a hold of viable, proper knowledge and wisdom that is going to bring us not only to the threshold, but give us access to gates beyond the threshold of the lockdown and the bullshit that is holding us back from the birthrights beyond the first gate, Heru, in order to master our existence and pull the alignment of ages. This is your opportunity. This is the call forward in terms of your rights and everything that belongs to you remembered. Bright son of Geb and shadow-cloaked Newt, beloved of Hathor, great lady of gold, eldest of the falcon gods, ancient of name, O Horus, whose left eye is the sun, whose right shines as the moon. I hail you forward, I evoke you forward, and call upon the inner strength and the courage to seek out strife, to war with the wicked who will corrupt the work of Ma'at. Yours is the nerve face of what may come, whatever the chances, whatever the risk. Yours is the will, the true will to preserve through any misfortune, any restraint. Yours is the heart of the first eye, the Aten Ra. Fight the good battle, struggle and strive to succeed. O Horus, the mighty Heru were, overcomer of obstacles, share with me your gift of determination. This is Sethikus Boza, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts, and Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon. I look forward to speaking with many more of you soon. Now is the time. Take the opportunity unto yourselves with me. Now. Hails!